What's up, fam? Yeah, I'm back. We had a very interesting conversation yesterday. Yes, y'all. So today, y'all gotta excuse me for the small little things that I have to do just to get ready. You know. All right. So anyway, today, as y'all can hear my music in the background, Jerusalem. Yeah, my mom's loves this song, man. I love it as well. And you know what? I just think that it reminds me of self-love, something that we all should have, self-love. And yeah, I think today my topic will be self-love. Let's talk about how much we love ourselves. And of course, we know we can't love others if we don't love ourselves. It's pretty hard for people to do, you know? And me personally, I had to go through a transition in my life where I had to recognize if I really loved myself, even though, you know, I operated in a way that was pretty normal for most people, is to look after yourself, feed yourself, dress yourself, take showers in baths or whatever. You know, you figure that's self-love, but not really. You know, self-love, I think it stems from a lot of how much do you value, yourself to a point where that it takes a lot more than just the basics. And you want to be able to represent not just yourself, but by representing yourself well, represents your people, your loved one, your family. It represents them as well. So we have to keep in mind that self-love is not just us loving ourselves. And then there's a thing where some people take that self-love to a whole new level. And we don't really want to get into the vanity part of it. So we really don't want to cross over from self-love into vanity. And I think that's a fine line that a lot of people cross over, and they don't even realize that they actually do this. And loving yourself is one thing. And by loving yourself, you mainly want to do the most positive things for you. And of course that reflects on the people who raised you, your family, the people you are constantly around, the people that you are naturally attached to by race. You want to represent in the best way you can. And self-love goes a very long way. Self-love is just not about loving yourself way more than anyone else. Now, you have to love yourself in a respectable manner, And even if you were blessed, let's say you were blessed with a lot of good looks, maybe you're blessed with, being put together very well as a male or female, or maybe your skin tone is very beautiful. You don't have to work at it, or you have a head full of hair. You don't have to wear weaves or sew-ins or lace fronts. You don't have to do all those things because you've been blessed, And self-love is to love yourself as God has designed you, but not take it to a level where it's vanity, that you think that you're way more than anyone else, right? Because, of course, there's a lot of people who really don't love themselves. Now, they can talk a big game. They can talk about how much they are this and they are that. But overall, the way that they conduct themselves, it literally changes the concept of self-love. Because if you have a person out here who constantly, put other people down constantly and bully other people, and just being totally mean because they don't look like them. You know, they may not have been blessed with great hair, great skin tone, great body physique, you know, great looks, great diction. When they talk very, very proper and put together. Or maybe they wasn't born in a family that had a lot of money or wealth. You know, they're putting people down that don't have these things, that have not been blessed with these things. You know, that is not self-love. All right, so we cross over. A lot of people don't know the line that they should not cross over. And I think we, when I say we, I mean people who think like I do. It doesn't matter what color you are. Today I'm talking to everybody. I'm not just talking to my people. I'm not just talking to white people or any other race, not just. I'm talking to everybody as a whole. And self-love is to simply love yourself to a point. I mean, in other words, you have to love other people just as equal as you love yourself, if that makes any sense. And it makes a lot of sense to me. You know, you don't want to, just because people look like you want to just give them all the breaks and the benefits of life because you're in a position to do so. You want to spread that out evenly, you know. And self-love is to say, well, you know what, I want to treat people like, I want to treat people as I'm being treated, or, you know, treat people like you want to be treated, basically what I'm trying to say. Because I always end my show off with that. You know, any of my channels that you come check me out, I try not to forget to tell you guys to treat people like you want to be treated. You know, and that pushes the self-love as well. Now, of course, I could talk about the people that I've met that literally didn't have any self-love. And were they aware of not having self-love? No, because I think all their lives they've been raised a certain way. And they believe that the way that they've been raised is the way to be, you know? And they're missing the major component. You cannot be vain with what you've been blessed with. That's a fact. And then there's people who haven't really been blessed with much at all, it seems. But they have a big heart and they love other people a lot. You know? I've met people who maybe was like half blind, couldn't see as well as I see, you know? But they had a lot of pride, not over the top vanity type pride, but they loved themselves. And they loved the fact that they cared and was concerned about other people. Because when you can love yourself, you can love others. That's the bottom line. That's just what we should be teaching our children in all races, all across the world. I think that would minimize the evilness that goes on. I would like to think that, you know. So today is about self-love, right? And what I have on my screen back here, it started out to be an African dance that basically was about Africa. And as time went on, it changed to something else. So let's see what I can do about that. See if we can go back one. Let's see if I can do this over my shoulder. I think I got it. Let's see. But okay, African dance. Okay, what are we doing here? All right, y'all. Look like we got something else going on back there. Where's my dancing brothers at? Oh, okay. So, excuse me. I'm gonna have to do it this way, y'all. I know I'm supposed to have myself together right now, but unfortunately, it's only, you know, I'm right on time actually. You know, I am right on time. So let me go ahead. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make it a lot easier and do this. We still gonna talk about self-love, y'all. My favorite. All right. So I corrected that error back there real quick. Now, all I'm really wanting to push today is simple that we need to literally start working harder at teaching each and every child how to love. Love is very important. Self-love is important as well. And that comes with the way that you conduct yourself in your home. There's a lot of things that you can operate, a way that you operate in your home that resonate to the children as they're growing up. The kids' first impression of life is what we give them. You know, and if we're yelling, arguing, and fighting around the house all the time, and doing smoking and drinking and getting high, and inviting all kind of people all through your home constantly, then the kid is going to pick that up as well. And if it's a toxic environment, then the kid is not going to learn a lot of self-love that way. They're going to learn exactly what they see, and this is the most important part about self-love. It starts at home. Once we can get our children to learn how to be respectful, that's where love begins. To be respectful, to say yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, or thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir, or just thank you. You know, some kids will, when they're little, they're little toddlers. Yeah, they will snatch from you. But if we let them continue doing that without trying to introduce to say thank you, then the child will pick that up and think that that's okay to be, to snatch, not say thank you, or not to do something or hit someone. This is all about teaching self-love. Self-love is taught in many, many, many ways. This is one way out of many ways that you can teach self-love, and it starts at the home. It starts in your house. It depends on you, the parent. If you have parents fighting all the time in front of their kids, the kids are going to first play fight. They're going to play just like that. But then as time go on and those type of toxic relationships are unfolding in front of the child will eventually have a problem with other people. And they're going to want to try to strike out at that person the way that they see their mother and father or whoever's in the home always arguing and battling with each other. They're going to respond to other people in that way. And they don't know any better because this is what they've been taught or introduced to at their early ages. And this is where a lot of conflict and problems and confusion comes in with a lot of people in life. When you wonder, you see young people and they're totally confused and got things backwards, it's basically because they didn't know exactly which way was the right way to go. All right? They're just simply following the blueprint that was laid out for them. And a lot of self-love was not included in that. And that is where a lot of complications come from by trying to understand a lot of these troubled kids, troubled young people. And then look, a lot of times that trouble grows into something even worse when they get older. They become this beast, this monster. And then they start looking at all the negative and bad things as the way to be or to live and to raise their kids. Self-love is absent. This is the part that I think we all need to constantly talk about. We have to be respectful starting in the home. You have to teach your kid, the sponge, the little one who picks up on everything we do. And here we are thinking that the kids, we think that the kids are not smart, that they can't figure out some things or what's going on. They smell like we smell, They guess and wonder and curiosity just like we have or had. I know we still do. But these kids pick this stuff up. Some kids are growing up a lot quicker than others. And based on these kids growing up a lot faster than we used to grow up, it's our job, our responsibility to keep them on track of self-love. Yeah. And it starts very, very simple at toddlers. You may not be able to change too much when they're infants, but when they go into being toddlers, you have to teach them the do's and the don'ts. What's good and what's bad. Good touch, bad talk, good talk. Knowing how to say thank you, please. Right? being loving to their parents, especially their mama. I don't care if it's a little girl or a little boy. One thing you don't want to start doing is teaching a child to be sassy back at their mama. Because then everybody laughing at it and they think it's so cute. I see this often. They think it's so cute to have little kids just putting their hands on their hips and they telling mama, no, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing this either. You can't make me do this, that, and the other. What's up, family? All right, one love, one love. We talking about self-love today, you know? And you got these little kids on social media that the parents are pushing this thing because we're attracted to cute little kids who kind of sassy, but are they really being taught to be respectful? That is the biggest question. Now, yeah, we may look at it like they're cute because they're cute little kids. You know what I mean? But there's something more menacing in that if we don't correct it along the way. These little kids can grow up to be little beasts. That's why you find a lot of kids almost uncontrollable when you have to go to work and you have to hand your kids over to either school or daycare or whatever, and they acting like little gremlins. Uncontrollable. And some people like, boy, if that was my kid jumping up and down on my furniture like that, like Bernie Mac said, I'll smack him in the head with a hammer, you know. And that's where stuff like that come from. You know what I mean? And it's up to us. It's our responsibility. I don't care how much cute it is to hear a kid that's sharp now. These little kids be coming back at you like they grown. You can have almost a full grown-up conversation with some of these little tykes, little kids, man. They telling you on what they get it from somewhere. They see, they emulate the people that they're around. The first impressions. That means an awful lot. When you're a parent, you have to be mindful of this stuff. If you were the type of parent that go out the house dressed in your night clothes, and there's nothing to you to do. You got your cap on, your curlers up under there, and you got your robe on, and you go outside. You go down to the store in your flip-flops. The kids see this stuff. Do you think that kid is going to be like, well, I'm not going to do that? That is not kosher. The kid is not going to do that. The kid is going to do exactly what they see. If you're smoking around the house all the time, you know what I mean? And you telling the kid, go get my pack of cigarettes, my Newports over there. Boy, you know what the Newports look like. They in the blue and the white pack. I think that's the color. I don't know. You know what I mean? And little kid go run find them. Here you go, daddy, mama. There you go. Right? That kid has been introduced to that stuff. That infant, that toddler. Remember, these children are sponges. Our children are smart. They're not little dummies. They're little smart kids. We think that we hiding stuff from them. But they know. Kids got ways of knowing. I knew a lot of stuff back in the day. I ain't even telling my mama that I knew. But she thought she was hiding some things from me. Nope. I was one of them kids. I was that kid. I was sneaky. You know what I mean? And when I had children, I was like, I ain't gonna let my children out sneak me. You know what I mean? Because I know when you turn your back, soon as you turn your back and you told them don't touch that, don't mess with that, you know what some of them will do. They're gonna start fooling with it because they think you ain't looking. You know? I double back. You can ask my kids that now. They grown, but I would double back. And if I say, I'll just test them out. I really don't mind if they touch that thing I told them not to touch, but it's a test. You know, I put them up to a little test and see if they're going to pass it or not. And as soon as I turn my back and wait a while, they think I'm gone. Yeah, I double back. I caught them sometime. It depends on which child I'm talking about, you know. But my girls, I didn't have to really spank them at all. It was just, that's my grandson. I didn't have to spank them at all. It was just a matter of the tone of my voice. That taught them the do's and the don'ts. Get down, you know, stop Stop being rough with your sister, you know, all those type things, you know. Do your homework, eat your food, you know, put your clothes on, get up. You got to get them up in the morning. You have to teach them these things, you know, because if you're the type of parent that's just always late, think about it, you're always running late for something. You know what I mean? Always at the last minute, you getting yourself together. You know you got to be there at 10 o'clock and you getting ready at 9:45. You know you're going to be late. And your kids see this constantly, never on time. That impression rubs off. And let me tell you, the surprising thing, right? All this is about self-love. And it starts in the home and it starts with the parents. Surprisingly enough, some kids could be put in those type of environments and wind up being the opposite of what their parents are. Because when they start realizing that, you know what, this is not right. Even though I love my mom, I love my daddy, I love my family, but this is not right. So I have to try to be different or better. They try to break that mold on their own. And sometimes that puts them on the outskirts of their family. And their family is starting to look at them like, oh, you think you all this. When they start getting up in age, you know, because they start actually getting information from other resources, not just there at the home. But it starts at the home. You know, it starts at the home. That's why a lot of racist families, let me just go here real quick. So racist families will raise a child to be a racist person, but when they interact with other people and realize that ain't right, then they start bucking against what the parents have been trying to raise them and groom them to be. They say, well, you know, black people are pretty nice to me. They haven't been this, that, and the other, and all this stuff you've been talking about. There's some of them like that, but not all, not the ones I know. And then they wind up being total opposite of the parents. And that goes the same with racist black folks. You can raise your child to really hate white people because you may hate white people. But then the kid turn around and be like, you know, they've been pretty cool with me the whole time. I ain't never had no problem. Ain't nobody never called me out my name. Matter of fact, they got more love for me than most of my family members. They cool with me. You know what I mean? That's something we all just have to accept in the individualism of our children. When they grow up, they either gonna follow what they have been taught in the home, have been introduced to them, right? The lack of self-love in some of these homes. I've dealt with a lot of kids through this boxing program that I've had. I've dealt with a whole bunch of kids, and they came with low self-esteem, a lot of them. And only self-esteem that they had is what they built in the streets. They felt they had more love in the streets than they had at their home. And they talked to their parents in a very negative and hardcore way. That is the part is considered not self-love. When you can talk to your parents anyway, especially when you have a sweet parent, kind, who really tries, maybe soft. You look after your parent. You know, you wind up being tough and rough, but you don't never disrespect your parent on your way up. You know, you have to understand what self-love is and where it comes from. And how is it that you can love yourself? Then you can love others. It's easier to love others if you can love yourself, meaning love your family, where you come from. And if you know that you've been raised in a toxic family, and you pick up the positive and you bring that positive back and try to make changes within the home in a positive manner, it's self-love. You're not going to leave anybody left behind. That's very important. And that's what we do. Or that's what we all should do. That's what we all should do. But when we look at some of these kids today, it's hard to tell what kind of family they actually been raised in. Because you see little white kids coming from a pretty well-off family acting like thugs in the street. And then you find kids who come from thuggish-like families acting like, you know, they want better and more in life. Talking about schooling, college, businesses, and all that at very young ages. Because they recognize the value of it. The value. And when you can see the value in those things, At a young age, you kind of have a tendency of start pushing toward that. When you see young people doing positive things, they got a lot of self-love, integrity. You know, they got a lot of that inside of them. But they're balanced. They're not like over the top with the vanity. They're not so super vain, no matter how fine and pretty they may look, or how gifted they've been. They still level-headed, man. You know, cool, right across the board. They don't look at other people that society may call ugly. Society will call people ugly because of how they look. But that person who is right across the board smooth, got everything in the right perspective at a young age, and they'll look at that person and say, you know what? Beauty is from within. It's from within an individual. Absolutely. You know? Self-love. So teaching your children, especially at the toddler age, that's the very most vital part of correcting a lot of things that your children may start off in that's not so positive, not so great. You know? And listen, I could talk about a situation that a lot of people would totally disagree with me on. But here it is. I'm going to throw it out there real quick. I believe that when toddlers start acting like little boys will act like their sisters, that is that moment where we should identify who he is. Let him know he is a boy. He is different than his sister. He is not a girl like his sister is. When you don't correct those things, no matter how cute he is, wearing his sister's clothes, you know, or doing certain moves and dances like his sister will do, we laugh that off as they're just young. They'll grow out of it. Some of them don't grow out of it, and they grow further into it. And that could be the beginning, because they had been introduced to be okay, of them wanting to not be who they were designed to be. That's the best way I can put it, with respect. Because just by me making that statement will tell you how I feel about that. You know? So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it right there. But that is my belief. Now, people will disagree with that. The only ones that I know that would truly disagree is non-believers of Christ. And maybe they are living that lifestyle themselves. Or then maybe they're just not living, they're straight as I am, and they just accept everything. There's certain things you just should not accept. And there's certain things you should accept. But there's a balance. It can't be that everybody can do and be anything they want to be in life. I get it. When we say you can be anything you want, you can aspire to be anything you want. But what you truly can't do, you cannot change who you really are. If God made you a man, you are a man. I don't care what kind of surgery you do. If God made you a female, you are a female, regardless on what surgery you do. That's how God made you to be, and that's exactly what your chromosome and your makeup of your body on the inside is going to operate like. Just like that. That's just what God designed you to do. Now, that's something people would just be like, oh my God, I can't believe he's talking like that. I can't believe, oh, that's racist. Oh, that's racist. Man, look, to me, it's like a spiritual battle. That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? And we have to literally guide our children. If you are who God designed you to be. Now, yeah, we don't want to leave out teaching your little children about God. If you believe in God, you should always push God, prayer, and God. Let them learn about these things. And then that will help guide them along the way as far as who they should be in this world. Good men and good females. Good women, good men, good women. Right? Now, I understand this new age. This new age is that everybody wants to be able to, they should be able to do anything they want and be anything they want and just be you, do you. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, just do you. All right, I get that. But then now, is that how it really should be? And why do you think all the bad gangsters and thugs do what they want to do? Because they take that same ideology. They may take it up in a whole different way, but they feel like, they have the right to be able to run around and make money the way they make money, no matter who gets in their way. And you have a tendency of losing the real concept of self-love. Wow. That's like, I can't believe you're saying that, Daryl. Believe it, I'm saying it. You know what I mean? Believe it, I'm saying it. That's just the way I view it. Now, self-love starts at the beginning, at the very early, tender ages. 1 on up. You got to teach them the rights, the wrongs, the yeses, the nos, the good touch, the bad touch, the evil talk, the good talk, the respectful, disrespectful, everything. These are the times. Don't let these times go by and you guys are not trying to teach your child as much as you possibly can as a toddler. This is vital. And for the parents who are letting that moment slip by, they're making a grave mistake, I believe. Now, this is just the view of one person, right? A person with no degree, just a regular individual just like you, regular person. But this is my view. Now, has it been successful for me? I would say yes. Now, of course, I'm biased about it because I'm saying it's me. And I'm saying that, my children have never been locked up. My children have never been, been chased down by anybody, actually. And I've been very fortunate, very blessed to have had children that made it through from their little infant times all the way up to adulthood. Now, have we had any close calls? Maybe, dibbling, dabbling with little things here and there, which is going to happen regardless. Some may not go near it at all, no matter what it is. And some will dabble and dibble, and some will just get lost in it. And that's the part that you're really trying to plant seeds at an early age. If they don't get lost in it, they'll find their way back. You have to lay out a blueprint for them to, if they get lost, they can find their way back because they remember what their parents have been telling them to keep them out of bad situations in life. And mind you, what won't get you there in the first place is to practice self-love. When they finally leave the nest, they have to practice this self-love, practice control. You have to be able to control yourself when you finally get loose from the nest. You know what they tell, a lot of kids have been like, watched and always guarded over time by their parents and hovering parents. And when they finally get loose, they go wild. They the wildest ones out there. Be doing some crap, boy. I met a young boy at my time coming up. He was the son of a preacher. And he was the baddest dude one of the baddest guys that I met. The son of a preacher. And he got out there, he had multiple girls. He was cheating on all of them. And he was going in places that people were shooting at him. He come back to work with bullet holes in his car. Talking about, boy, I had a rough weekend. What in the world? You almost got yourself killed, boy. You know what I mean? And now today, this young man, or back then he was a young man, he's grown, all the way grown now. I really hope it'd be great for me to kind of go back and check up on him and see, hey man, how you doing, bro? How's things going in your life? Sometimes when you do that, you find out that they wake up, that God has blessed them to get through their bull crap. And they wind up waking up. And then they wind up pulling their life together. And then the stuff that other good people used to talk to them about back in their youth, they found their way home with it because it was in the back of their mind because they knew better. That's why you want to plant positive seeds self-love. You want to constantly plant positive seeds, self-love. You have to do this. This is a necessity of literally raising a child in a village. Now that self-love learning doesn't have to just come from the parents in the home. When they leave out that house, and the neighbor should be kind of telling them as well, talking to them in the way that they do, whatever kind of rapport that they may have. But then they have to have, the kids will learn their respect for everybody on the block. It depends on how long you live there. Now, there's a lot of nomads out here, meaning, I come from a family that always moved, always had to move here, move there, move there, move. So we was always on the go. So for me to know the block, the neighborhood for a long period of time and respect everybody on the block, that never happened with me, because we were always on the move. Always had to move from one place to the next. Always trying to find a better place. Always trying to get into a place that had less crime, less things going on when you go outside your home. Yeah, I come from that type of a background, and I think that's why this is one of those burning things for me to talk about. It's self-love, because I, at one point, was teeter-tottering between that. What self-love really was. I didn't have anybody like a bigger brother or father to really just lay down the law about what I should and should not do, as far as, having that self-love and self-respect and how it reflected on my family. However way I conducted myself out in the street, the people out in the street looked at me, who come from a decent family, but looked at my family the way they looked at me. And I had to change that. I had to make a difference. And it wasn't easy to change something when you first introduce yourself to somebody and it's not so positive. And they remember that. They remember that for a long time. Because a long time after I had came up out of my dirt, a lot of people were still associating me with my dirt that I did back in the day. The guys that know me today, know me for over 40 years, 30 years, 35 years. It took them a long time to realize that I am no longer that guy, that knucklehead individual that they knew was doing some of the stupid things out there that could have gotten myself killed on numerous occasions. I am no longer that individual. I mean, I'm the same person, but my personality has matured. Because I found my way home outside because of the seeds that were planted from my mother when I was small. Every time I got into some dirt, I remembered and echoed in the back of my mind of what she told me that I should or should not do. I just thought she was trying to put a damper on my fun. Get me to act like an old maid. I'm a daggone man. I'm gonna get out here and act like a man. I know how men supposed to be, but I ain't trying to act like my mama, right? But I find myself more and more acting like my mama these days. When I had kids, y'all. When I had kids, I started acting like my mama, telling my kids exactly the things that my mama told me what I should and should not do. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. That's what happens when you get through the trying times of life. You have to experience some things. And when you experience these things, you put them all in the right perspective because you're matured now. You come out that little confused state of mind and you start being level-headed. And you start rethinking before you act. There was a lot of times that I acted without thinking. And it led me into some hot water. But when I thought twice, I didn't go with my first thought. When I thought twice about it, that gave me that whoosah. Hold up, wait a minute. Before I do this, what are the consequences? What can possibly happen? Is it worth it? These are the things that self-love drove me to think. Because if I didn't care, my first reaction would have been, bam, I'm doing the thing. Yeah. And then worry about the consequences later, which always catch up to you in time. Some things you can get away with. I've gotten away with a lot of stuff. But for some reason, even though I thought that I got away with it, God had a way to let me know you didn't get away with it. You just postponed it. Because over time, I found myself on the other end of the thing that I thought I got away with. Now I'm faced with it. I'm like, dang, nabbit, man, I remember when I got, man, now here it is, I'm getting it. And I had to actually sit down and think, what in the world caused this? Why am I going through this? Because I've made somewhere in my past have done that thinking I've gotten away with it. That is the thing that we go through in the course of progressing in life. We all have that thing. So listen, y'all, self-love, self-love, self-love. This is Jerusalem, y'all. Yeah. Y'all hear that? My mother loved this beat, man. I mean, me and a friend of mine, the friend of mine was, he is from Barbados. And he was telling me about this. This is the reason why I have it playing in my background right now. Because he was telling me about it, saying, hey, man, we need to do something with that. I said, you know what? You're right. Matter of fact, my first thing to do with it is to have it in my background, you know? So this is what I'm doing. And tomorrow, that was self-love today, y'all. See, now I started to be like, you know what? I'm going to kind of give y'all heads up of what I'm going to talk about the next day. That's a lot of work. I ain't doing that no more. Y'all gonna have to just tune in live at 5 and hear what the snap is he talking about today. What in the world is this dude gonna be talking about? You know what I mean? And remember, I'm always on 2 platforms. I'm on YouTube live at 5, and I alternate between Instagram and Facebook. So tomorrow I'll be on Facebook. Ooh, that's my dyslexia kicking up. Excuse that. I'll be on Facebook tomorrow and YouTube. Okay? What topic? You're going to have to tune in and see what topic I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. But I can best bet you that it will be an interesting conversation. Well, it's just me talking, really. It ain't nothing but me talking. But, you know, I'm really going to start looking at having that split screen. I'm going to try to get them. Matter of fact, on my next one, I'm going to be looking into trying to get a meeting group. Yeah, that anybody can actually chime in if you got it set up at your, you know, with your phone or whatever, and we all can just like be on there at the same time and talk. I guess I don't know. I'm not a tech guy, so I'm gonna see what I can do. If I can't do it, I'll do it just like I'm doing now. So we shall see. Y'all, listen. Treat people like you want to be treated, and it'll come back around because it has for me. One love, y'all. Treat people with more love. Love yourself first and foremost, and it makes it easier to love others. Beware of scams at all times. Fake fronts. People put these fake fronts up all the time and try to fake you out about how much they really care and concern and love you. Watch out for those fake fronts. All right? The true them will shine in time, just like the true you will shine. Practice love. Treat people like you want to be treated. All right? I'm out, y'all. Peace.